Are streaming live. Hello on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.
Hello,
And of
hello.
course, we're streaming from Discord. Where else would you stream from? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We're about to get started in a couple minutes with our live stream webinar for HubSpot superadmin integration. We have Graham from QuotaPath with us. We're going to wait a couple minutes while some people come in on Discord and can join us over on LinkedIn. Some of you hopefully are coming over from the RevOps Hug, the HubSpot user group. Congratulations, Kyle and team, on getting that over the finish line. I haven't taken the RevOps cert yet. Have you, Graham? I'm putting you on the spot. I
I
don't
have
tell
not.
you.
No, I haven't yet. I haven't really been certified on much of anything. It seems like I can do it all, but I haven't actually gone through the certification process.
Heard. So as we start to go live, just making sure that anyone over on LinkedIn can see the live stream through the HubSpot super admin page. Would love and appreciate a share of the live stream. It's on my Grant Carlisle's page. That's where LinkedIn allows us to at this point. Come on, LinkedIn. Let us live stream into pages. Let us get there. And also on YouTube over on the HubSpot Super Admin, Twitter, and Twitch. Graham, there has been exactly one person ever in this past month that has logged in to a live stream on Twitch.
Huh. Hey, that doesn't really surprise me, but hey, that's a different audience. That's all
Yeah,
right.
not surprised, not surprised. Those of you watching on, you can see the you can see that I still have things to do. Yep. Speech box. Graham, where are you in the world today?
I'm in Austin, Texas. So I live up in Portland, Maine, but did spend 8 years living in Austin, Texas, and our company is co-headquartered in Austin and Philadelphia, and our board meeting is this week. So I'm down in Austin visiting for the week. I try to come down here about once a month.
Welcome from the south. I'm straight north in Indiana.
Yeah, that's right.
So here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks to everyone joining us live. If you are watching us after on the recording, welcome to the HubSpot Super Admins Integration Webinar. We have some special content, guests, and an integration for you, and our first one, QuotaPath. And so to kick off today, I just want to say we love you. We thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the community and sharing your super. Lots of us out there continue to do interesting things in HubSpot, find new ways to use HubSpot. And so thanks for being a part of sharing your super. Our agenda for today is to make sure that we go over this whole integration webinar series thing so we can understand what it is you should expect. We want to talk to Graham and talk about QuotaPath. Graham's going to talk to us about why QuotaPath integrates with HubSpot, and then he's going to just dive into the super software that they created. At the end, we'll have some time for Q&A. So this is kind of a twofer. If there's time for this kind of second half, we'll go into it. If not, that's fine too. If during the session there's questions that come up Graham wants to go into, or he and I banter, then we'll do the second one another time. However, we'll definitely go into what QuotaPath does and make sure that you understand how to integrate it into your portal. And so with that, this whole integration webinar series, why are we at the HubSpot superadmin community doing an integration series? Well, the sheer fact is HubSpot is growing. It's growing and it's growing fast. And so each day, each week, we're seeing releases of new pieces of software or new features within a hub. And we're seeing updates to existing features to make them better. So that's constantly happening. And the users, the customers, all of the people who are a HubSpot user, that base of people is growing. It's not just for small business, not just for going to market, it's for enterprise. And so different industries are using HubSpot in different ways. And so that user group is growing as well. And so as that user group grows, guess what else has to grow? The partners servicing them. So in addition to all of these users, features, and partners growing, of course, then integrations grow as well. And so you as a freelancer, agency, or in-house HubSpot superadmin need to know about these integrations. There's over 1,000 integrations to HubSpot. So which ones should you use? How should you use them? And how do they work once you've implemented them? And that's where we're going to start today with QuotaPath. QuotaPath is a certified HubSpot application. They're commission automation software and they're HubSpot venture backed. But congratulations today, Graham. Announced the Series B $41 million raise. QuotaPath. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Love it. Announced today. Of course, all of that happened this morning. They raised the round and did the outreach since 9 a.m. And then it was all secured this afternoon. So nice to be able to do in a day.
Yeah.
No, obviously that's not why. In the past 8 months, QuotaPath has grown 335% in their paid user base. Triple-digit growth in the past 8 months. And in order to then support that growth, they themselves have grown 2x in their employee headcount. So fantastic growth on not only the user, but then the people who are loving on and supporting those users. And AJ, co-founder, said it best when he explained that QuotaPath is the shortest path to maximize quota attainment. And so it just makes sense that they're a certified app, they're growing at that speed, and the sky's the limit. So we have with us today Graham Collins. Welcome, Graham.
Hello. Great to be here.
Graham is a previous Discord user. Those of you in Discord, hit up Graham and you might be able to see and friend him, and you might be able to see what game he's playing on the weekends.
That's right.
Graham prefers an email thank you in follow-up. Maybe the letter you send might get there next week, but an email is going to get there immediately. And in addition to all of that, his shirts, they're fantastic.
I'm disappointed, Grant. I packed that shirt on my trip to Austin. I should have worn it had I known. I haven't worn it all winter, and I said, oh, it's time to bust this shirt out. But I was planning on wearing it tomorrow. If only I'd known.
One thing Graham has going for him is that while my hair is growing longer and longer, his is thriving for sure.
Oh, thank you. My wife's not the biggest fan of it, but that's all right. And it's as soon as I get to a place where the weather is warmer than 70 degrees, I'm tempted to cut it all off. So we're really going through the test this week in Texas.
That's right. All of a sudden it becomes that hat that you want to take off, but you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Graham has been lots of fun to get set up with, and we chatted a couple times and talked through the HubSpot integration. Why is it that QuotaPath did a HubSpot integration? I guess let's just start there. Like, why is it even a thing? Why does this exist?
Yeah, for sure. So HubSpot was our number one requested feature. HubSpot integration was our number one requested feature of 2020. We started, our very first integration was with Salesforce, but we had a lot of people reaching out to us, more than you'd expect, saying, hey, when's the HubSpot integration coming? When's the HubSpot integration coming? And so a couple of things here. First of all, obviously, like you alluded to, or didn't allude to, you outright said, HubSpot Ventures isn't an investor in QuotaPath, but it's actually funny. We did the integration before we had the investment from them, and so they kind of coincided. But it was the number one requested feature, I think, because there's the people who use HubSpot as a sales or as a CRM as opposed to Salesforce or other CRMs tend to have a slightly different mentality and more of a growth and more of an experimentation mentality, and so they're more likely to roll out new tools. And being the kind of a new kid on the block in our industry, we really find that the people who are using HubSpot as their CRM are more willing to get their hands dirty and experiment and try new things that aren't just the traditional classic tools that you see out there. And then something else that you said earlier, it's not just the CRM you use until you can afford Salesforce anymore. It's an incredibly baked out, incredibly powerful CRM, and I think people are realizing that. And so being one of the first movers and being able to be gain that advantage by integrating with HubSpot and by catering to those folks, we've seen a lot of success.
That makes sense. It makes sense. I love that. I don't know that I was aware that the HubSpot integration happened first, and maybe that helped Ventures get in. That's just like a fun fact.
Yeah.
But again, as the user base grows, and you have such a great tool, right? It's not lost on us that you built a great tool. People wouldn't be asking to use your tool in more ways if it wasn't working well to begin with. And so you built this great tool, and so now they're saying, hey, I want it in more places and in more ways, and HubSpot was that new place.
Yeah.
What is it?
I was just gonna say that what I've seen in the past with HubSpot integrations is they tend to be kind of an afterthought for some organizations and for some companies. Oh yeah, well maybe we should integrate with HubSpot. But a lot of the initial designs and a lot of the initial way that we thought about integrations really brought HubSpot to the forefront. And so and we'll talk through it, and I can walk you through a little bit of the integration itself, but it's designed deliberately to make it easy to work with HubSpot as opposed to kind of being bolted on or being kind of working.
Right. Can you show us how it works on our end when we open up and connect QuotaPath?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I can pull my screen up.
Go ahead, and I'll click over to yours.
Cool. So again, to give a little bit of a background here, QuotaPath again is a commission tracking, commission calculating platform that allows you to see as an admin, see in real time how much to pay reps, and as a rep to see in real time how much they're earning and how much they could earn. And a lot of other platforms out there in the industry are very admin centric. While we have all of that admin functionality, and this is sort of the same similar ethos with HubSpot, but we want to enable the reps and the individuals to actually control their own destiny and to hit their quotas and see their commission. And so what you see here is an individual view. Reps can log in, they can see exactly how much they have earned, and they can see deal by deal why they earned that amount. This deal right here, I hit my monthly quota bonus, so I earned $1,000 on this in addition to my 12% commission. And you can drill down, you can see all of this information here. You also have the ability to forecast your pipeline. So you can see, hey, if I closed all of these deals that I'm working on, how much more would I earn month over month or quarter over quarter? And so that's the ethos behind QuotaPath. Don't want to go through an in-depth QuotaPath demo there, but it's important to know all of that stuff. And the way that we think about QuotaPath is that there are comp plans, and then underneath each of those different comp plans, your account executive plan, your account manager plan, what have you, we have what we call paths. And each one of those are the different ways that folks get paid. And so this may be your monthly quota bonus, or your monthly commission, or your quarterly quota bonus.
Right.
And so each one of these are then mapped differently to HubSpot. And so the reason why is, maybe you get paid differently on upsells versus new business, or you get paid for scheduling a meeting and then for actually closing a deal, something like that. But the HubSpot mapping is in essentially real time, and I can walk you through really quickly the way that works is.
It makes sense,
Oh,
Graham,
go ahead.
as you open that up, that yeah, the admin side, the manager, the back end, the reporting, let me see what's happening. I love that the focus is, hey, HubSpot people are focused on the people using the platform. And so in addition to of course the managing and the reporting afterwards, it's also the salesperson, the rep day to day. How could I be doing if I want to do better? What should I expect? I get the visibility as a rep myself. It's
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
I get visibility into my manager's portal. It's I have a portal for me, the rep.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second part of this conversation we'll have, once we talk a little bit about QuotaPath and the HubSpot integration, we can talk a little bit about compensation, comp plans, and comp planning, and how you actually like build those and think about those here in a bit, because that's so important. And it's so much of salespeople's lives is, how much am I going to get paid? Like, not all salespeople work out of the goodness of their hearts. Oftentimes they want to get paid for what they do.
So
But
I've
it's
heard.
so misunderstood. Yeah, exactly. But it's so misunderstood. And how much am I going to get paid on this deal versus that deal? Or so often people will close a deal and then get a paycheck at the end of the month and be like, what the hell? How come this was
Right.
$3,000 short, or $3,000 less than I was expecting it to
Comes
be?
out
And
of
so
nowhere.
that can be incredibly, yeah, exactly. Oh, and it's because, it's a 1 year deal, not a 2 year deal, or something like that. It can be incredibly demotivating.
Right.
And so providing that transparency to folks and pulling it directly from HubSpot into QuotaPath. And actually, we do have a functionality that pushes the earnings back into HubSpot. So within HubSpot, on a closed won deal, you can actually, as a rep, click in. There's a HubSpot card on there, QuotaPath card in HubSpot, that shows you exactly how much you have earned off of that deal. So providing that transparency is incredibly important. And again, where we do a lot of the differentiation is visibility for your reps.
Yeah. Yep. I want to say more, but I'm just going to say like a +1 because you nail on the head.
All right. Excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit about the integration then. So this is the mapper, and it's a 4-stage mapper, and I won't go into all of the excruciating detail on this, but really we want to make it incredibly easy for you to map all of this. It's very straightforward, it's very simple, but essentially you can go in and you can say, okay, well, what counts towards my quota? Is it deals? Most often it's deals. If you're a sales rep, generally it is. But some situations it's products or line items or contacts or companies or tickets. That's we ourselves don't have the version of HubSpot that has tickets in it. So that's why it says additional permission required. But if we did, you can even do tickets. And then what you're doing is you're teaching QuotaPath what QuotaPath field lines up with what HubSpot field. And
Right.
as you can see here, we use a lot of the same exact terminology. The deal name is the deal name. The revenue, or maybe it's ARR, or maybe it's amount, or whatever it may be, is the amount field in HubSpot. And these are all custom, and this can pull in custom fields. This can pull any of the information that you have within your custom HubSpot instance. The deal date equals the close date. No, that's not always the case. If I'm an SDR, the close date isn't necessarily when I get paid on this. Maybe it's the demo date, or the the qualified date, or something like that. And then the same for the deal owner, equals deal owner. Again, 95% of the time that's the case, but there are situations where, again, an SDR, they don't own the deal. They may be where the person who created it, or they may be a custom field that says SDR owner or SDR creator or something like that.
I see a little button that says additional field options.
Yeah. So you can set this up. There are a few reasons why folks do this. One major reason is for ASC 606, which I'm not an accountant. I won't pretend to be one, but what it allows you to
what
do
Graham's
is
just said. This is for you.
something for, yeah, if you know what ASC 606 is, this is for you. But it also allows you to pull additional
Got it.
information in on the deal level there if you wanted to pull, a paid date or a renewal date or something like that. You can pull additional fields in, and those are actually customizable. So it says term start, end, and term length. Those are for the 606, but you can customize those. You can make them say whatever you want.
Awesome. Let's
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. So then from here, you're defining each of the stages. We have 3 stages. We have closed won, meaning counts towards your quota or you're going to get paid commission on. Pipeline means you're not yet going to get paid on it, but you may eventually. And closed lost, meaning, hey, you're never going to get paid on this. It's a closed lost deal. So you can define pipeline however you like here. If you wanted to say like forecast category equals best case or whatever, you can create that however you want. And then you review it and you can add filters here. So this again allows you to filter based on all kinds of different things. So if you wanted to say the deal type equals new business, because you get paid differently on new business, or you wanted to say the original source type is equal to email marketing, paid search, or organic search, it's not going to pull any information in because I'm applying all kinds of filters that we don't have the data in there.
A whole bunch.
If you wanted to, or if you needed to apply each of those filters, you could do that so that you're making sure that all of the deals are going to the appropriate path. Again, new biz versus renewals, or 1 year versus 2 year versus 3 year deals, or however you pay your accordingly. So once you're done, it's as simple as just hitting the sync button. I'm not going to do it because this isn't actually going to pull any information in, but once you actually sync it, it then begins syncing in real time. And you can see here this account executive plan. This one was sync details was updated about 20 minutes ago, but if I click the little refresh button, it will go ahead and refresh all of that data as well. I can then assign these plans out to each of the different people. Again, I'm getting more on the admin side here because that's super
Right.
admin, kind of the folks we're talking to, but I build all of these paths, I assign each of these plans out to those folks, and then they go in and see that information. They don't have to create this themselves. They don't have to worry about, oh, did I get the commission rates right? Because it's all set up by the admin, but they have the ability to see all of that in real time.
And that visibility is, like you said before, the point here. It's not that it's a secret. We want you to hit your quota. We want you to simply have visibility and access to it in an actionable way.
Yeah. I have actually had a couple of conversations with people, especially early on, where I would say, oh, and this is where your reps can see how much they earn. And they said, well, I don't want my reps to see how much they earned. And I said, all right, well then get out. Like, I don't need you as a customer then. Like, that's not what, like we're not, it collides so intensely with what our core beliefs are, that seeing this information and tracking your progress is so important, that if somebody says that they don't want the reps to see that, then sorry, but I have no interest in working with you.
Yeah, this isn't going to work for you. You're going to hate this software.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there are all sorts of other motivational components too. Like you can create these leaderboards, and I haven't done a great job of building out the leaderboard. We just launched new leaderboard functionality like 2 weeks ago, so I haven't built out all of this, but it does allow you to do team-based leaderboards here. You can see each person. You can see where you stack rank. I don't know why I don't put myself in first place. I put myself in second place.
You're just
foolish. Right. I mean, come on. This is all fake data. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And so I put myself in second place there. And then you also, again, have the ability to forecast. So you can say like, okay, I may be in second place now, but what happens if everybody closes the deals that they're working on? Where will I end? First place. How about
Look at
that?
the projections. Look at that. And see, it's even intuitive in the way that I know which numbers I have and which numbers are the forecast.
Yeah.
I know where to look.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of love about. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, a lot of the design is designed that way to be understandable. And again, not to say that we took tons of pages out of HubSpot's book, but the colors and the kind of overall feel of the app was designed in an intentional way that is more like an Apple product, if you will, where it's understandable and you get it intuitively. You don't have, like, our rep trainings tend to be 5 minutes long. Like, here's how to see your earnings. Here's how to forecast your pipeline. End of training. Like, and then they can explore and they can do all sorts of cool things like set personal earnings goals and personal attainment goals for themselves. But a lot of that is explorable, and they can figure that out for themselves.
And so, as we're talking through these things, you're at QuotaPath.io. And so that's where
Yeah.
people will be using
No,
the
no,
quota.
no, no. They would be at QuotaPath.com. This is I am gonna get my wrist slapped for this. I'm using one of our in our staging environment, which is for QA testing purposes.
I just wanted to
I
clarify. So
always,
it's
no.
QuotaPath.com.
I always like to have the newest and funnest features out there. So nope, it is QuotaPath.com. It is app.quotapath.com. But what folks would see is that, you know, if you were to go, like, I think I have a gcdemo.quotapath.com, and so it's each different organization has their slug at the beginning there, you know, the company's name.
Right,
so
right.
acmeco.quotapath.com. You also have the ability to, and of course, don't you love live demos? But what you also have the ability to switch in between different workspaces. So
Sure.
if you were an admin for a bunch, as you can see here, I have a lot of testing ones named Graham, but you have the ability to log into multiple different workspaces, flip back and forth between them. So if you are an admin for, you know, if you're a consultant or if you're an agency and you work with 10 or 15 different customers, you can easily switch between those. The customers can't see everybody else's data, only you can see all of that data.
Right. And so you can come in and you can see your information here at QuotaPath.com inside your own portal, your own instance.
Yep, exactly.
See what you need to close, see what's coming up, see what you could forecast if you were to close those things. And we as super admins, we are making sure that the data points are matching what we have in HubSpot. We're making sure that the paths represent what the managers we're working with want. And then we're making sure that the visibility by users is there. Is there some sort of a Teams tool or grouping of people?
Definitely. So creating teams is actually pretty straightforward here. I can show you what that looks like. I'm gonna go sales team 6, which is a, you know, Steel Team 6 reference, I guess, but it looks like I'm just naming it. And so then you create leaderboards, and you can create like a different attainment indexes. And so based on the ARR, which is a currency field, and you can create a team goal that is, you know, $1 million. I do that right? How many zeros? Don't want to be a billion per quarter. And then each person on the team, you then define what counts towards their quota here, you know, revenue, or what counts towards that. And then as a manager of this, you can even create you can assign a manager, and that person can see earnings. So if I assign myself here, or if I assign somebody else here as the manager, they can then view the earnings. And so it's that layers of approvals and layers of visibility. You know, you don't want your sales manager to see the VP's commissions. You only want the manager to be able to see their team's commissions.
So
and then in the
yeah, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then this allows you to see that again.
This is so big for super admins to be able to define a team, report on that team, and maybe report on particular properties or values that their either partner in an agency setting, right, or their manager when they're in house, and they say, these are the things that I want this team to know about this team. Well, in QuotaPath, I can just define the team and say, these are the things I want to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm flying through it here. What I should have done was assigned on the team. I should have assigned not revenue, but actually assigned a quota, because if I assign a quota, you can then see the attainment on each of these. So I can say, and maybe people that have different quotas. Each person, in some organizations, each person has a different quota. And so I can see, yeah, sure, maybe I am the number 2 seller, but I actually have the top quota performance because my quota is substantially lower than everybody else's.
Right, right.
So you can see here, that's that is not the case here. I think that they all have they all have the exact same quota. But if they all had different quotas, maybe even though Sam here is below me on the total sales, maybe she's higher in quota attainment.
Yeah.
Which is on the right hand side there.
It's just good, Graham. And again, it goes back to QuotaPath has made a solid piece of software. And yes, it integrates with HubSpot. But man, people asking for it because the software you've built does so well already. So just really a leg up that, yep, it also integrates with HubSpot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're constantly trying to add more, and as HubSpot is adding features, and they are including more different things that that tickets thing and all of the different things that we are have our ear to the ground and are trying to pay attention to where HubSpot is heading, because we think that what they're doing is really awesome and will be the future for us. So we're trying to build out that functionality as they're rolling it out, we are as well.
Yeah. Can we switch gears then, Graham, to go back over and talk to us about your compensation planning. Yeah,
so I said it a few times. It's incredibly important, compensation plans and compensation planning. And so I can pop over to the who I am. I got a bit of an intro there, but my own personal introduction, I refer to myself as a resident sales nerd. I've been in sales roles, been in sales leadership roles. Most recently, I was in an SDR. I ran a team of about 45 SDRs, so my team was responsible for scheduling meetings for our entire more than 150-person sales team or 100-person sales team. So, but a major role at QuotaPath has been sitting down and helping organizations think through their compensation plans and make sure that those compensation plans are built out properly. So I've done more than 300 of these calls. They're with customers, prospective customers, people who just need help, is often the case. And so through that, I've codified a lot of thoughts around sales compensation and sales compensation plans. So I know that we don't have a ton of time left here. I want to save some time for it's a lot. It's probably more than that. It's probably even 50 at this point. I need to look at exactly how many, but
love it.
We don't have a ton of time here, but there are some things that I just love talking about as far as compensation plans and how I think about them, really from every aspect. So no matter what I'm doing, whenever I'm building a compensation plan, simple is better. Trying to simplify your comp plan as much as you can, because if reps don't understand how they're getting paid, they're just going to close deals and hope they get paid correctly. And so much of compensation is around trying to drive the right behaviors. And so if you have too many components of your comp plan, reps can't understand how they're going to be paid, therefore can't understand what you're trying to incentivize. You're just going to end up with reps who don't really understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then a couple other things here. I say that sales compensation is the caboose, not the engine. Meaning, determine your company strategy and then build a compensation plan around it. Don't hope that because your compensation plan is built a certain way, you're going to have those outcomes.
It doesn't push. It recognizes what you've done. That
Right.
makes so much sense.
Exactly.
If those motions aren't happening, then you can't recognize them. So
Right.
you need to make sure you're
Yeah.
doing them first. Yeah, love that.
Right. And it can be a motivator, but it's not you have to drive that behavior. So, I have and I'm happy to share this deck out with anybody, but comp planning calendar here, not meant to scare you. We're right in the middle of April, so fortunately people should have their comp plans finalized by now, I sure hope. But we're entering the beginning of the sales comp planning season, which is assessing mid-year performance. You shouldn't wait until the end of the year, because if you wait too long, if you made a change at the beginning of the year and you don't bother looking at mid-year performance, you could end up missing a lot. and you can change comp plans mid-year if needed, if you're not accomplishing the goals that you need to. So I would begin the mid-year performance evaluation soon. Who owns compensation planning? So this is actually, given the audience here, I have a feeling that I'm going to make a lot of friends here. I think that revenue operations, rev ops, sales ops, whatever you want to call it, should be the organization in charge of building compensation plans. Sales leaders want to pay their reps. Yeah, sales reps want to pay their reps as much as possible. Finance wants to pay their reps as little as possible. RevOps just wants to pay fair. They just want to be logical about it. They want to be the in between there. So, and that's shown time and time again when RevOps has the comp plans that are most trusted. So we ask people, how much do you trust your comp plan, and who built the comp plan, and RevOps always comes out on top there. But until you hit 30 million in revenue, this is based on some survey data that we've done, sales leadership generally builds the comp plans. Now, part of that may also be that organizations don't invest in RevOps until they get to a certain point, which is, again, I think I'll make friends here by saying that's a mistake. You need to invest in RevOps early and often.
Early.
Yep, yeah, as early as possible. But that's likely why we see an increase in RevOps being the organization that owns compensation planning. A big thing here is that on-target earnings are up year over year. OTE is on-target earnings, how much your reps can expect to make if they hit 100% of their quota. It's up every year for the past 3 years. It's going up and up and up. And so we're seeing all-time highs.
Wow.
Base salaries are increasing. Pay mixes are remaining, meaning a 50-50 split generally on those. But comp transparency is becoming a selling point. And being able to say, yeah, sure, XYZ company may be offering you an on-target earnings of $220,000, but how much are the reps actually earning? Are they getting anywhere close to that, or are they earning 150? At our company, sure, the offer may only be for 200, but our reps are on average earning 195. And so providing that transparency is becoming a real selling point.
And you can't know it. Yeah. If I have a QuotaPath, then I can know what that is to then sell it on the front end to bring people into my organization.
Exactly. So, there are a bunch of things that I recommend, and again, I know we don't have a ton of time, especially if we wanted to, if there are any questions, but there are a lot of things that I really like to pay for performance. People often think, whenever I say that I work at a company that does commission tracking, they're like, well, I don't understand. Like, my dad doesn't understand what I do because he's a doctor and assumes that just everybody gets paid a commission, whatever. You get paid 10% of everything you sell. It doesn't,
right.
And it's often so much more complex than that. And there are ways that you can pay for performance. So accelerators, almost 80% of comp plans we see use an accelerator. And so I'm a big proponent of accelerators. I've actually recently come around to decelerators as well. The idea being if you're under your quota, you earn a lower commission rate as opposed to if you overachieve. And what that allows us to do is pay top performers. The bottom performers pay for the top performers, if you will. So big fan of accelerators. I actually don't really like thresholds or gates. The idea of that being until you hit 70% of your quota, you don't earn anything. I don't like those. They tend to be demotivating, so I avoid those. But there are other things like multi-year. If you give a higher commission rate, the longer the quota, the contract is.
Right.
So forth. So.
The idea of an accelerator and decelerators in this Fiverr world, in this pay for performance kind of Upwork world, it just makes more and more sense to more and more people. So again, having something that can track and then I can actually use to pay for that performance would be super helpful.
Yeah,
I'm glad you outlined
exactly.
that.
Yeah. I mean, and I would much rather have one rep hit 150% of quota than two reps hit 75% of quota each, because I have to pay a base salary, I have to pay benefits, I have to pay all of that for those two reps who are both underperforming. And so I'd rather enable one rep to hit 150 and overpay them for it, because I'm not paying the second base salary, all that stuff, than two underperforming reps.
Right.
So, one thing, spiffs. I'm a big fan of spiffs. You want to try something new, or you want to incentivize a new product or something like that for a short period of time. You roll it out for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it may be. test it out, and eventually it can become a part of the permanent comp plan, but it's a way of testing things out in the short term. I'm going to skip that slide, but
Yep.
I have just some stats here for folks. Whenever you're building a comp plan, the average, the mean, median, and mode is 50-50. The average is actually 51.6% base salary, but the idea being if my on-target earnings is 100K, I have a 50K base salary and 50K that's variable, that's up for grabs. Most organizations are on a quarterly quota. A lot of this has to do with exactly what your average contract value is, what your sales cycle is, but about half of organizations are on quarterly. About a quarter of them are on monthly, and a quarter of them are on annual. As your revenue increases, you tend to shift more towards annual, but it still is split pretty evenly there.
Yeah, I can tell it is pretty even.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are a lot of ways, and this goes. I also wanted to plug. If anybody's interested in sitting down and doing more of a deep dive in this into your own organization, like I said, I've done 300, maybe pushing 350 of those comp plan consults. Happy to sit down with anybody on the line here and do that. It's on our website under resources. Feel free to grab some time with me, or you can email me, Graham at QuotaPath.com. But a major thing that people talk about is quota to OTE ratio. So the idea of this is say you're earning 100,000, your on-target earnings is 100,000. As your company sells more and more, the multiplier there needs to increase. So, if you're sub $1 million in revenue, you're paying somebody 100K, their annual quota may be 320K, a 3.2x multiplier. But as you add more resources, marketing, SDRs, management, enablement, all of that ratio increases. So 5x, 6x, even beyond 6x once you're in the 100 million plus range. So this number gets thrown around a lot. It's very misunderstood, but it's something that is a good way of just benchmarking yourself. And we actually have a benchmarking tool on our website as well.
Because as you grow as an organization, that means you've put more resources around your people, right? At the end of the day, you can do more, and so we're expecting more.
Yep. That's exactly right. And we're allowing you or enabling you to do more. So you need to do more.
So
we need to.
More.
And yeah, well, I mean, at my last company, every time a deal was closed, 7 people got paid on it. So you had like the rep, the SDR, both of their managers, both of the directors, and the VP all got paid on every deal that closed. And so when you're at that level, if you're only at a 3.2x multiplier, like, that's not a whole lot of money to go around to those 7 people. And so that's why as you increase, you're going 5, 6, 7x.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then I alluded to all of this before, but most companies, most comp plans use accelerators. Some depend on the contract length. That's increasing more and more recently, but cool. So I want to take a few minutes and leave y'all with just some mistakes to avoid when you're thinking about building comp plans, and whether this is you building them for your own organization, if you're helping a company build comp plans, if you're evaluating these while you're building it out in QuotaPath. These are the things that I try to avoid. And there are 4 of them. Again, I know we don't have a ton of time, so I'll go fairly quick here, but happy to answer any questions. Number 1 is too complex. You'll see, I always say plans should be simple, logical, and fair, and you'll see that here. But simple. The simpler you are early on, the better off you are. Because if you go too complex for your first comp plan, it's going to get more complex in your second comp plan and even more in your third. So try to build a simple comp plan and don't over rely on compensation. There are other ways of getting behavior. You can coach people, you can set up rules, you can create different ways. You don't always have to compensate people to do certain behaviors. Number 2, logical, as you saw here, simple, logical, and fair. Not logical. So this is things like, every once in a while I come across an exponential accelerator where if you hit 300% of quota, you're actually earning greater than 100% commission. That's not good. Don't do that. You want to earn money off of deals. And so things like that. You have to make sure that you benchmark against industry averages. You also have to run scenarios using historical data and extreme data. What happens if somebody hits 500% of quota? Not that likely to happen, but it might. What happens if somebody hits 0% of quota for 3 months in a row? Like, will that break your model? Will you end up with bad comp plans and in situations where you're stuck paying out a shitload of money that you don't want to?
Right.
So be careful on that. So going against company goals, and again, this is the big thing that comes up a lot, where sometimes I see people saying, hey, my reps aren't closing 2-year deals. And I say, oh, okay, well, tell me why not. He said, well, we're paying more for it. We're paying 11% versus 10%. And I said, okay, well, it's only 1 percentage point more. Maybe it's not, maybe a lot harder to sell a 2-year deal. And they say, well, but there is a discount, a 20% automatic discount on 2-year deals. And I do the math there, and I'm like, well, so they actually earn less. If you're paying on the ARR and there's a 20% discount, they're earning less by earning 11% of a discounted deal. And so no wonder they're not closing 2-year deals. They don't want to earn less for more work. So
Like,
you have to define those goals. Exactly. I mean, and so often, I put your comp plan hacker hat, put on your comp plan hacker hat there on the right-hand side. And that's so important. You put on that hat of like, how would I break this comp plan? If I was the most mischievous rep in the world, how would I break this and game this comp plan? And then remedy the things that you identify. And I put rubber duck comp plans. My dogs have had many different comp plans explained to them as I'm trying to work it out. If you explain it, sometimes just saying it out loud, explaining it to a rubber duck or a dog or somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, sometimes just explaining it can be very, very helpful.
Love that. Just say it out loud.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then my final mistake, which is inconsistent or different comp plans for everyone. This is something that I am very, very passionate about, building comp plans that are fair to everyone. If you have different comp plans for different sales reps on your team, on average, you're going to underpay women and people of color. And people who look like me are going to be the highest paid people in the organization, exclusively, nothing to do with my job performance. And so create levels if you need people who are at different levels here. If you need a senior AE and an AE, that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, for doing the same amount of work, for selling the same amount, I should earn the same amount. And so creating a comp plan that it has levels or tiers is fine. But if you have different base salaries, different commissions, different all that, you're going to underpay people, and it tends to be people who are already not paid properly. So there, I can get off my high horse after that.
Understood. It needs to be said. I'm glad you focused in on it and called it out. That human bias being baked in to systems doesn't mean it goes away. It means it's amplified, actually. And so
exactly.
Super respect.
And it's easy for people to justify it, and say like, oh, well, it's not because they're a woman or whatever. It's because they have less experience or whatever, but you can eliminate that entirely by just standardizing your comp plans. Some additional resources I talked about.
Yeah. Calculators and helpful resources. One of which is you get to see one of Graham's amazing shirts in your one-on-one.
I know it's the same shirt. Unfortunately, there is a on our website. I think that when you book a demo, you get to see me wearing a different shirt, smiling and waving at the camera. So
there is a different shirt somewhere.
I do own more than one shirt. So I don't know if we have any questions, or if anybody wants to chat about something. I'm more than welcome to, or more than happy to sit down and discuss all kinds of stuff with folks. But
Matt and Mario are in Discord. I would invite either of you, which I would have to do that. Let's see. I can unserver mute you. Happy for you guys, two of our more active people. So you guys can come off mute. Yeah, Mario's on. Mario, any questions?
I don't know if there's anything that you folks wanted to chat about, or any questions. Not trying to force your hand here, not trying to make you have questions that you don't have, but Cool. Well, look at that. I feel like I kind of rushed through and we got 10 minutes left here, but
That's
if
right.
if there's nothing else, we can give folks 10 minutes back.
We yeah, we'll close it out, and if there's some things lingering, that's fine. But if we wanted to say thank you, Graham, for being here.
Of course.
We appreciate you. We appreciate the work we were gonna do. Thank you for being the first integration series.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your raise and your growth.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. More to come. More to come, and we're hiring like mad. So if you are looking for a job or know somebody who's looking for a job, the careers portion of our website, it's a pretty great place to work. We do half day Fridays, which is pretty awesome. Get out at noon on Fridays, pretty clutch.
okay.
So, yeah,
People
it's
can find
surprisingly
you
awesome.
at
It's one of those things where I'm like, at first I was like, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm whatever. But no, it's like, it's great. I
really
find myself, I
changes the
usually,
weekend.
it truly does. I mean, I don't usually stop working at noon, but often I'll like grab my laptop and go finish the day at a brewery and get to do some kind of heads down stuff. So it's pretty awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Go apply to QuotaPath at QuotaPath.com. You can also find the resource where you can book a demo with Graham or a walkthrough of your comp plan.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he is also on Discord. You can go over to HubSpot superadmin and find the Discord. If you want to go directly to the invite, you can just go to discord.hubspotsuperadmin.com. You can find us there. And we want to say thanks on this Tuesday. I know I learned a lot about comp planning through the use of QuotaPath. I had done some comps and set up some when I was doing some production for. I hadn't told you this, but when I was doing production for tow trucks, B&B B&B tow trucks, and we had some salespeople, reps around the country, and we had 2 new trucks going out, and so I had to create new comp plans, and man, was it manual.
Yeah. It's
It
hard.
was
It's not easy. And it's, yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
the tracking and reporting. I had once I got the numbers in, I had then an Excel, right, which was amazing.
Of course. That's our number one competitor, Excel.
uh, but I mean, getting that information, getting the visibility in, that was the toughest part. And so,
Yep. For sure. Cool.
thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. Always happy to chat, and I'll see y'all on Discord.
See you over there. Take care.
Sounds good. Bye.